The Laughing Council. In the grand chamber of the Galactic Council, an air of mockery hung thick. Representatives of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations gathered around a massive holographic table that displayed a rotating image of Earth. Their gleaming robes and vibrant alien forms reflected their technological and cultural supremacy. To them, Earth was nothing more than an amusing curiosity. High Chancellor Velmer, a towering figure with translucent skin and shimmering eyes, opened the session. His voice resonated through the chamber, dripping with condescension. Fellow council members, today we discuss a rather insignificant matter, the planet Earth. He gestured to the hologram, which zoomed in on the blue-green world. A ripple of laughter spread across the room. Ambassador Droth, a reptilian being with scales that glittered like diamonds, leaned forward. Earth, that primitive rock with its loud broadcasts and clumsy technology. Surely this is a waste of time. Yes, chimed in Nixra, a being of pure energy encased in a containment suit. Her voice crackled with disdain. Their defenses are a joke. I doubt they could even scratch one of our scout drones. The council erupted into laughter again, their amusement echoed by the chamber's acoustics. They had been observing Earth for decades, watching humanity's struggles and slow technological advancements. To them, Earth was a child playing with outdated toys. But as the laughter reached its peak, the chamber lights flickered unexpectedly. The hologram of Earth distorted for a moment before stabilizing. A sharp, mechanical tone rang out, silencing the laughter. Confused murmurs rippled through the crowd as a new voice broke through. Do not underestimate us. The voice was deep and unwavering, carrying an edge that sent chills through the council members. It was unmistakably human. The hologram of Earth shifted to reveal a blurred image of a massive warship, its design unlike anything the council had ever seen. Its silhouette radiated power, with jagged edges and a dark metallic sheen. Chancellor Velmer narrowed his eyes. Who dares to breach our secure communication channels? His voice trembled, though he tried to mask it with authority. No answer came. Instead, the image of the ship remained, slowly rotating as if to taunt them. The chamber fell into an uneasy silence. For the first time, the council members felt a flicker of doubt. Droth hissed, his scales rippling with irritation. This is a bluff. Humans are too backward to build something like this. They must have stolen the design from another species. Even if it's real, Nixra added, a single ship cannot stand against the combined might of the Galactic Council. But not everyone in the chamber shared their confidence. Terran, a seasoned military strategist from the Vithan Empire, studied the image intently. Unlike the others, he remained silent, his reptilian eyes narrowing. The ship's design was alien, even to him. The energy readings were off the charts, and the sleek structure suggested a level of efficiency far beyond what he thought humans capable of. Before anyone could speak further, the hologram flickered again, and a new message appeared in bold, glowing letters. Do not know Siki, what you do not you understand. The words hung in the air like a challenge. The message disappeared, and the hologram returned to its default image of Earth. The lights in the chamber stabilized, leaving the council members in an uneasy quiet. Chancellor Velmer straightened his posture and forced a laugh, trying to regain control. This is nothing more than a desperate attempt to intimidate us. Earth is still the weakling it has always been. We will proceed with our plans as scheduled. But as the council session continued, whispers spread among the representatives. Who had sent the message? Was it truly Earth? And most importantly, was the mysterious ship real? In the shadows of the chamber, Terran watched and listened. His instincts told him something was different this time. Humanity, for all its perceived weaknesses, had shown an uncanny ability to surprise its enemies. He would not underestimate them. As the session adjourned, Velmer's voice echoed through the chamber. Prepare the fleet. Let us show Earth their place in the galaxy. Yet even as the council members departed, a sense of unease lingered. The image of the warship was burned into their minds. Somewhere on Earth, humanity was preparing for something. And for the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council began to feel a faint twinge of fear. Earth's secret project. Far beneath the surface of Earth, hidden beneath layers of rock and secrecy, humanity's greatest gamble was taking shape. Deep in the Arctic, within a vast underground facility, the Titan project was nearing completion. The base buzzed with activity. Engineers, scientists, and military personnel moved with purpose, each knowing that failure was not an option. General Adrian Wolf stood on the observation deck, his sharp eyes fixed on the massive structure below. The Titan-class warship was a monster of human ingenuity. Its hull, forged from a newly developed alloy, gleamed faintly under the harsh lights of the hangar. It stretched nearly 3 kilometers in length, bristling with weapons and housing technology the world had only dreamed of a decade ago. "This is our answer to the galaxy's mockery," Wolf said, his voice steady. Beside him stood Dr. Elena Park, the lead scientist on the project. She adjusted her glasses and gave a wry smile. "They think we're ants," she said, "but they've never seen ants build a war machine like this." Wolf smirked but said nothing. He couldn't afford to show doubt. The Council's laughter still echoed in his mind. For years, Earth had been dismissed, its people seen as insignificant by the galaxy's superpowers. But humanity had a knack for survival and surprises. The birth of the Titan. The project had begun 10 years earlier, after Earth intercepted an alien transmission revealing plans for its invasion. The message had been clear. Earth was to be subjugated or destroyed. The global response had been unanimous. Rival nations set aside their differences, pooling resources and talent. The goal was simple: create a weapon so powerful that no one would dare threaten Earth again. The Titan was the result of this unprecedented collaboration. Its core was powered by a revolutionary energy source called dark fusion, harnessed from the remnants of a neutron star. It was said to produce energy on a scale never before achieved. The ship was equipped with weapons that could disable fleets and shields that could absorb almost any attack. Dr. Park had overseen the ship's AI system, a sentient construct named Atlas. "It's not just a ship," she often said. "It's a living fortress, and it learns." Doubt and determination. But not everyone believed in the project. In a dimly lit conference room, high-ranking officials debated the wisdom of deploying the Titan. "It's untested," said Admiral Strauss, slamming his fist on the table. "We're gambling with the fate of humanity." "Would you prefer to surrender?" Wolf shot back. "To kneel before aliens who see us as insects? No, this ship is our only chance." Dr. Park intervened, her voice calm but firm. "We've simulated every possible scenario. The Titan is ready. The question is, are we?" The room fell silent. The enormity of their choice hung heavy in the air. The first test. The Titan's first activation was a moment of tension and awe. Engineers cleared the hangar, their faces pale with anxiety. On the observation deck, Wolf, Park, and a handful of key personnel watched as Atlas's voice echoed through the speakers. "Systems online. Awaiting command." Wolf nodded to Dr. Park. She took a deep breath and gave the order. "Engage power core." The room trembled as the Titan's engines roared to life. Lights flickered, and a low hum filled the air. For a moment, everything seemed stable. Then, without warning, a surge of energy erupted from the ship, sending a shockwave through the facility. "What happened?" Wolf demanded. Park studied the readings, her expression grim. "The core is too unstable. We need more containment." Before anyone could respond, Atlas's voice cut through the chaos. "Correction. Containment achieved. Power levels nominal." The team exchanged astonished glances. The AI had solved the problem faster than they could process it. Wolf allowed himself a rare smile. "Looks like we built more than a ship." A message to the stars. That night, as the team celebrated their success, Wolf stood alone in the observation deck, staring at the Titan. He couldn't shake the feeling that their work had only just begun. "What's on your mind?" Park asked, stepping up beside him. Wolf didn't turn. "We've built a weapon they'll never see coming. But what if it's not enough?" Park placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then we fight until the end. Humanity doesn't quit." Wolf nodded, his resolve hardening. "Let's send them a message." The next day, the Titan systems broadcast a simple warning across the galaxy, piggybacking on the same channels the Council had mocked Earth on. The message was concise. "To the Galactic Council, laugh while you can. We're ready." As the Titan powered down, the Earth's leaders braced themselves. The galaxy wouldn't take the message lightly, but that was the point. They'd wanted the Council to come, and to see what humanity was capable of. The invasion begins. The Galactic Council wasted no time. Humanity's bold transmission had been received as an act of defiance. To the Council, Earth was an unruly child that needed to be disciplined. Fleet Admiral Kelnar, a seasoned tactician from the Uron Empire, was tasked with leading the invasion. His fleet comprised over 100 warships, each bristling with advanced weapons and technology that had subjugated countless planets. From the bridge of his flagship, Eclipse Prime, Kelnar addressed his officers. "Earth dared to challenge the Council. Their arrogance will be their undoing. This mission isn't just about conquest, it's about reminding the galaxy that defiance comes at a price." The fleet launched toward Earth, their engines tearing through hyperspace corridors. It was a display of might, a show of overwhelming power meant to crush the morale of Earth's defenders before the first shot was fired. Earth's final hours. On Earth, panic spread like wildfire. Civilians watched the night sky, knowing the invaders could arrive at any moment. News channels broadcast images of the approaching fleet, their size and power dwarfing anything humanity had ever faced. In underground command centers, Earth's leaders struggled to maintain order. President Angela Morales addressed the world in a televised speech, her voice calm despite the weight of the situation. "We stand on the brink of annihilation, but we will not kneel. Humanity has faced impossible odds before, and we will do so again. Trust in our strength. Trust in the Titan." Beneath her steady demeanor, she felt the weight of doubt. The Titan was Earth's only hope, but it had never faced a real battle. Could one ship really stand against an entire fleet? The arrival. The invasion fleet emerged from hyperspace just outside Earth's atmosphere, their ships casting long shadows over the planet. Their sheer size blocked out the stars, a chilling reminder of their dominance. Admiral Kelnar gazed at the blue and green planet with disdain. "Open a channel," he ordered. The voice of a human commander crackled through the comms. "This is Earth Defense Command. State your purpose." Kelnar chuckled. "Earth, you have two options. Surrender unconditionally and become a vassal of the Galactic Council, or face total annihilation." There was a pause, then a response. "We'll choose option 3. "Option 3. Kelnar sneered. "What nonsense is?" Before he could finish, the skies above Earth shimmered, and a massive ship emerged from its cloaking field. The Titan was revealed in all its glory, its black hull reflecting no light, as if it were absorbing the very essence of space itself. Its presence was a statement. Humanity was done hiding. The Titan's first strike. Inside the Titan, General Wolf stood at the command console, his hand steady. "Atlas, bring all systems online." The AI's voice responded, calm and precise. "All systems operational. Targeting locked on lead enemy vessel." "Fire," Wolf commanded. A single beam of energy shot from the Titan, striking the Eclipse Prime. The blast wasn't just powerful, it was calculated, striking the enemy ship's shield generator with pinpoint accuracy. The shields of the flagship flickered and collapsed, leaving it vulnerable. On board the Eclipse Prime, alarms blared as Kelnar stumbled, his composure momentarily shaken. Impossible. How did they bypass our defenses? "Admiral," a panicked officer reported, "it wasn't brute force. The attack, it was precise. They knew exactly where to hit. The battle unfolds. The Titan moved with an elegance that belied its size, darting between the alien fleet with a combination of speed and cunning. Its weapons targeted weak points, crippling enemy ships without wasting energy on drawn-out engagements. Earth's ground defenses, though primitive in comparison, fired missiles and lasers, adding to the chaos. Kellner growled, "All ships, focus fire on the Titan. Bring it down at all costs." The fleet obeyed, unleashing a storm of plasma and missiles. The Titan's shields absorbed most of the barrage, but some attacks slipped through, rocking the ship. Inside the Titan, sparks flew as consoles shorted out. Dr. Park worked frantically with her team, rerouting power and stabilizing systems. "Shields at 70%. We can't take another barrage like that." Wolf's jaw tightened. "Atlas, give me options." The AI replied instantly. Option 1. Retreat to Earth's surface for repairs. Option 2. Deploy experimental weaponry. Park's eyes widened. The experimental systems aren't stable. If they fail, we're finished. Wolf made his decision. Prepare the weapon. The turning point. The Titan's hull opened, revealing a hidden array of glowing, pulsating spheres. The energy signature spiked, and the alien fleet's sensors went haywire. A low hum filled the air, growing louder until it became a deafening roar. Atlas's voice echoed across the ship. Gravitic disruption array online. Firing in 3, 2, 1. A wave of energy rippled out from the Titan, distorting space itself. Alien ships were thrown off course, their systems failing as gravity twisted around them. Smaller vessels were crushed outright, while larger ones were rendered immobile. On the Eclipse Prime, chaos reigned. "Admiral, our engines are down. Weapons offline." Kellner stared at the Titan on his screen, a mix of fury and fear in his eyes. What kind of monsters have humans become? The aftermath. As the remnants of the fleet struggled to retreat, Wolf stood on the Titan's bridge, his gaze cold. "Let them run. They'll spread the message." Dr. Park, exhausted but triumphant, leaned against a console. They came expecting ants. They found giants. On Earth, people watched the battle unfold on their screens, their fear giving way to hope. Humanity had not only survived, it had stood toe-to-toe with the galaxy's strongest and forced them to retreat. But as the Titan returned to its hidden base for repairs, Wolf knew this was only the beginning. The Council would come back, and next time, they wouldn't underestimate Earth. First contact. In the aftermath of their retreat, the Galactic Council reeled from the devastating defeat at Earth's hands. The once mocking voices were now laced with uncertainty and fear. Humanity, previously dismissed as insignificant, had demonstrated a level of ingenuity and ferocity the Council had not anticipated. But the Council was not unified in their response. While some called for an all-out war to crush Earth once and for all, others, like Terran of the Vithan Empire, advocated caution. "The humans have built something extraordinary," he warned during a tense meeting. "If we act recklessly, it may be the end of us, not them." His words fell on deaf ears. High Chancellor Velmer declared, "If they wish to play the role of giants, then let us show them what true power looks like. Prepare a diplomatic envoy. We will see if their arrogance holds under direct confrontation." The envoy arrives. Days later, a smaller fleet emerged from hyperspace just outside Earth's orbit. Unlike the previous armada, these ships bore the golden insignia of the Galactic Council, signaling a diplomatic mission. Leading the fleet was the Concordia, an ambassadorial cruiser, its sleek design symbolizing peace, though its hidden weapons suggested otherwise. Inside Earth's underground command center, tensions were high. The Council's envoy had requested a meeting with the Titan. It was an unprecedented move, one that could easily be a trap. General Wolf and President Morales stood in the control room, debating their next move. "We can't trust them," Wolf said. "They've already tried to destroy us once." Dr. Park, monitoring communications, interjected. But this is also an opportunity. If we can buy time, even a little, we can continue to strengthen our defenses. Morales nodded. We'll hear them out, but the Titan will oversee the meeting. Aboard the Titan. The Titan ascended into orbit, its massive silhouette dwarfing the Concordia. Inside the warship, the crew worked tirelessly to ensure everything was in perfect working order. Atlas, the ship's AI, monitored every system and external signal. Ambassadorial shuttle approaching, Atlas announced. No detectable weapons, but I recommend caution. Open the docking bay, Wolf ordered, his voice firm, and keep all weapons locked on their fleet. If they try anything, we'll send them back in pieces. The alien shuttle docked, and a small delegation stepped out. Leading them was Ambassador Elin, a graceful figure with silver skin and eyes that shimmered like liquid metal. Despite her calm demeanor, there was an undeniable tension in her movements. She had seen what the Titan was capable of. Wolf and Dr. Park met her in the docking bay, flanked by armed guards. Elin raised a hand in greeting. General Wolf, Dr. Park, it is an honor to meet the minds behind this remarkable creation. Cut to the chase, Wolf said, his tone cold. What does the council want? The offer. Elin's voice remained steady. The council recognizes your ingenuity and wishes to avoid further bloodshed. Surrender the Titan to us, and Earth will be granted protection and membership in the Galactic Council. The room fell silent. Wolf stared at Elin, his expression unreadable. Then he laughed, a low, bitter sound. You think we built this to hand it over to you? This isn't a bargaining chip, it's our survival. Dr. Park stepped forward. If the council wants peace, they'll have to do better than threats disguised as diplomacy. Elin's composure faltered for a moment. This is not a threat, Doctor. This is an opportunity for your people to join a greater galaxy. Wolf's voice hardened. We've seen what your greater galaxy does to those who don't fall in line. Slavery. Exploitation. No, Earth will stand on its own. Elin sighed, her silvery eyes dimming slightly. I was afraid you'd say that. For what it's worth, I admire your courage. Betrayal unveiled. As Elin and her delegation were escorted back to their shuttle, Atlas's voice echoed through the ship. Alert. Unauthorized signal detected. Attempting to override internal systems. What? Park's fingers flew over her console. They're trying to hack the Titan. Wolf's face darkened. Lock them out. Atlas, shut down their access. Already in progress, the AI replied. Estimated success in 20 seconds. The Concordia suddenly emitted a powerful EMP wave, targeting the Titan. Systems flickered, and for a moment, the ship seemed to go dark. Elin's voice crackled over the comms. You should have accepted our offer. But as the Concordia prepared to fire, the Titan's systems roared back online. Atlas's voice was calm, almost smug. EMP countermeasures engaged. Enemy systems compromised. On the Titan's main screen, the Concordia and its fleet froze in place. Atlas had turned their weapons and engines offline. Wolf smirked. Looks like you underestimated us again. The show of strength. The Titan turned its main cannon toward the Concordia. Wolf opened a channel to the alien fleet. Leave now, or the next shot won't be a warning. Elin's face appeared on the screen, her composure finally cracking. You don't understand what you're doing. The Council will. Wolf cut her off. The Council will learn that Earth isn't afraid of them. The Titan fired a single shot, narrowly missing the Concordia. The beam grazed one of the smaller ships, splitting it in half. The remaining fleet scrambled to retreat, their engines sputtering back to life as Atlas released control. A message returned. As the alien fleet fled, Wolf turned to Dr. Park. Prepare a transmission. I want this broadcast across every council channel. Dr. Park nodded and typed a command. Wolf stepped forward, his voice cold and deliberate. To the Galactic Council, you sent your ambassadors, and they tried to betray us. This is your final warning. Earth will not kneel. Come again, and you'll face the full might of the Titan. As the message was sent, Wolf stared out at the stars. They wanted to see what we're capable of. Now they know. The battle for Earth. The Galactic Council's fury knew no bounds. The Titan's defiance and its crew's refusal to bow had sent shockwaves through the galaxy. This time, they would not send a diplomatic envoy or a small fleet. They would send an armada, a show of force unmatched in centuries. The Council's intent was clear: total annihilation. From the vast orbital stations of the Eclorian system to the dread factories of Crixin Prime, ships were mobilized. Over 1,000 warships, armed with the most advanced technology the galaxy had ever produced, converged into a single unstoppable force. At its helm was Supreme Commander Zorlev, a legendary strategist who had crushed countless rebellions. The calm before the storm. On Earth, the Titan sat in its hidden Arctic base, undergoing final repairs. General Wolf stood in the war room, surrounded by holographic projections of the incoming fleet. The sheer size of the enemy armada was staggering. It was a storm that no planet had ever survived. Dr. Park was at his side, her face pale but determined. "We can't face them head-on," she said. "Even the Titan can't handle that many ships." "We don't have to destroy them all," Wolf replied. "We just need to make them think twice about ever coming back." President Morales, watching from a secure communication link, asked, "What's the plan?" Wolf pointed to the hologram. "We'll use the Titan to draw them in. If we can force their fleet into a single formation, we'll activate the gravimetric singularity cannon." Park's eyes widened. "That's not a weapon. It's a black hole generator. If it fails." "It won't," Wolf said firmly. "Atlas has run the calculations." Atlas's voice chimed in. "Probability of success, 72%. Sufficient margin for action." Morales nodded grimly. "Do it. If we fail, humanity's story ends here." The invasion begins. The Galactic Armada arrived in Earth's orbit like an eclipse, blocking out the sun. Thousands of ships formed a wall of destruction, their weapons trained on the planet below. Supreme Commander Zorlev addressed Earth's leaders in a final ultimatum. "This is your last chance," his deep voice boomed across every channel. "Surrender the Titan, or your planet will burn." Wolf's response was short and cold. "Come and get it." The Titan emerged from its base, rising like a leviathan from the depths. Its black hull reflected no light, an ominous shadow against the stars. The sight of it caused even Zorlev to pause. "Impressive," he admitted, "but it won't save them." The battle commences. The Armada opened fire. Thousands of plasma bolts, missiles, and energy beams hurtled toward the Titan. But the Titan's shields held, absorbing the onslaught like an immovable fortress. Its advanced cloaking and countermeasures allowed it to weave through the chaos, striking back with deadly precision. "Atlas," Wolf barked. "Target their command ships." "Coordinates locked," the eye replied. The Titan's main cannon fired, obliterating one of the Armada's lead ships in a single devastating shot. The explosion lit up the battlefield, sending shockwaves through the enemy ranks. Smaller enemy vessels scrambled to reposition, their pilots shaken by the sheer power of the human warship. The turning point. But the Council's fleet adapted quickly. Using swarm tactics, they surrounded the Titan, forcing it into a defensive posture. Inside the ship, alarms blared as shields began to falter under the relentless assault. Dr. Park shouted over the chaos, "Shields at 40%. We can't keep this up." Wolf gritted his teeth. "Atlas, is the singularity cannon ready?" "Charging sequence at 80%, the AI reported. Additional 30 seconds required." "Hold them off," Wolf ordered. "We just need 30 seconds." The Titan unleashed a flurry of counterattacks, targeting the swarm with precision strikes. Its secondary cannons tore through the smaller ships, creating brief openings in the encirclement. The singularity cannon fires. As the countdown reached 0, Wolf gave the command. Fire the singularity cannon. The Titan's hull opened, revealing the massive weapon. A sphere of black energy formed at its core, crackling with raw, chaotic power. The energy condensed, and then, with a deafening roar, it was unleashed. The cannon's blast created a localized black hole in the heart of the enemy fleet. Ships were pulled toward the singularity, their structures twisting and breaking apart under the immense gravitational force. Entire squadrons vanished into the void. Zorlath's flagship trembled as it fought to escape the black hole's pull. On board, the commander watched in horror as half his fleet was annihilated in seconds. "Retreat," he roared. "All ships, retreat. Victory, at a cost." The Titan powered down, its energy reserves nearly depleted. The black hole dissipated, leaving behind a field of wreckage. Earth had won the battle, but at a great cost. The Titan's hull was scorched, and its systems were barely operational. Inside the ship, Wolf leaned heavily against a console, exhaustion evident on his face. Dr. Park slumped into a chair, her hands trembling. "We did it," she whispered. Atlas's voice was steady but tinged with an unusual note of respect. Enemy fleet retreating. Earth's survival probability increased significantly, a warning to the galaxy. As the remaining enemy ships fled, Wolf recorded a final message. His voice was calm but resolute. "To the Galactic Council, this is what happens when you underestimate humanity. If you come for us again, we won't just defend Earth, we'll come for you." The message was broadcast across the galaxy, reaching every corner of the Council's domain. For the first time in history, the galaxy saw humanity not as victims, but as warriors. On Earth, the people cheered, their spirits lifted by the impossible victory. But in the depths of space, the Council plotted their next move. The Titan had won the battle, but the war was far from over. Betrayal among the stars. The galaxy reeled from the Titan's unprecedented victory. Across alien worlds, whispers spread like wildfire. For the first time in millennia, a primitive species had not only resisted but humiliated the Galactic Council. Many celebrated humanity's defiance, viewing it as a beacon of hope against the Council's tyranny. But in the shadows, resentment festered. The Council was not finished, and they had allies even closer to Earth than anyone realized. A traitor among allies. Earth had not stood alone in its struggle. A few sympathetic members of the Galactic Council had secretly aided humanity, supplying intelligence and resources. Among these was Ambassador Zealer of the Vithan Empire, who had been instrumental in leaking details of the invasion plans. But what humanity didn't know was that Zealer's allegiance was conditional. Zealer paced in his private chamber aboard the Council station, his scaled hands clenched. He had received an ultimatum from High Chancellor Velmor. "You've outlived your usefulness, Zealer." Velmor had sneered in a secure transmission. "Bring us the Titan's secrets, or your empire will pay the price." Zealer's loyalty wavered. His people were vulnerable. Their defenses stretched thin. Sacrificing Earth might be the only way to save them. Anomalies aboard the Titan. As Earth celebrated its victory, strange incidents began occurring aboard the Titan. Systems that had been repaired suddenly malfunctioned. Atlas reported unauthorized access attempts on critical components. At first, these glitches were dismissed as the aftermath of the battle. But Dr. Park wasn't convinced. She pored over logs, her unease growing. "These aren't random failures," she told Wolf in a hushed meeting. "Someone is tampering with the ship." Wolf's eyes narrowed. "A saboteur?" "It's possible," Park replied. "But whoever it is, they're covering their tracks well." Zealer's move. Zealer arrived on Earth under the guise of offering additional support. Welcomed as a hero for his previous aid, he was given a tour of the Titan. His sharp eyes scanned every detail of the ship's interior, cataloging its secrets. Dr. Park, though polite, couldn't shake the feeling that Zealer's interest was too keen. During a private moment in the engine room, Zealer placed a small device against one of the Titan's power conduits. The device blinked once and vanished into the machinery. Unbeknownst to him, Atlas was watching. Later that night, Atlas alerted Wolf and Park. Unusual activity detected in the engine room. A foreign device has been installed. Wolf's jaw tightened. "Show me the footage." The grainy recording revealed Zayler's actions. Wolf's fists clenched. I trusted him. The confrontation. Wolf and Park summoned Zayler to the Titan's war room. The alien ambassador arrived, feigning confusion at their stern expressions. "Is something wrong, General?" Zayler asked, his voice smooth. Wolf didn't waste time. "We know what you've done. We have footage of you sabotaging the ship." Zayler's composure faltered for a split second, but he quickly recovered. "You don't understand. I had no choice." "Then explain," Wolf said coldly, his hand resting on the sidearm at his hip. Zayler sighed, his shoulders plumping. "The Council threatened my people. If I didn't give them access to the Titan, it would destroy my world." Dr. Park's voice was sharp. "And what about Earth? Were you willing to sacrifice us to save yourself?" "I didn't want this," Zayler snapped, his voice breaking. "But you don't understand what they'll do. The Council doesn't just destroy planets. They erase them." Uncovering the larger plot. As the confrontation continued, Atlas interrupted. "Apologies, General, but there is a more immediate concern. The device Ambassador Zayler installed is transmitting our location." Wolf's eyes widened. "How long until the signal reaches the Council?" "Based on trajectory and speed, approximately 4 hours," Atlas replied. "The Council will have our exact coordinates." Zayler's face turned pale. "I didn't know it was transmitting already. I thought it was only collecting data." "You've doomed us," Wolf growled, drawing his sidearm. "Why shouldn't I execute you right here?" "Because I can help," Zayler pleaded. "I know their tactics. I know their weaknesses." Wolf hesitated, the tension in the room palpable. Park placed a hand on his arm. "We don't have time for this. If Zayler is telling the truth, he might be our best chance." A desperate plan. With the clock ticking, the Titan's crew worked frantically to prepare for the Council's inevitable arrival. Zayler provided valuable insights into the Council's formation and command structure, but Wolf remained wary. "We're not trusting you blindly," Wolf warned. "Atlas will monitor your every move." Zayler nodded. "Understood. I'll do whatever it takes to prove myself." The Titan launched into orbit, cloaking its presence as it prepared an ambush. Zayler's knowledge allowed the crew to predict the Council's likely entry points, giving them a crucial advantage. The Council's arrival. Right on schedule, a fleet of Council warships emerged from hyperspace. Unlike the previous Armada, this fleet was smaller but more specialized. These were elite hunters, ships designed for precision strikes against high-value targets. Wolf stood on the Titan's bridge, his expression grim. "They're expecting an easy kill. Let's show them they've underestimated us again." As the enemy ships advanced, the Titan uncloaked, its weapons primed. Atlas's voice rang out. "Targets locked. Awaiting orders." Wolf raised a fist. "Fire." The betrayal within. The battle began, but as the Titan engaged, systems began to fail once more. Dr. Park's face turned pale. "It's the device. It's still active." Zayler froze. "That's impossible." "I didn't." Before he could finish, Atlas interjected. "Confirmed. A secondary activation signal was embedded within the transmission. Source: the Council's fleet." The Titan's engines faltered, leaving it vulnerable. Wolf turned to Zayler, fury in his eyes. "This was your plan all along." "No," Zayler shouted. "They must have modified it remotely. I swear, I didn't know." Cliffhanger. As the enemy fleet closed in, Wolf made a desperate decision. "Park, find a way to disable that device." "Atlas, buy us time." Atlas responded immediately, engaging emergency protocols. The Titan's weapons blazed, but the Council fleet pressed harder. The bridge shook under the impact of enemy fire. Dr. Park worked frantically, sweat dripping down her face as she tried to isolate the device's signal. "We're running out of time," Wolf shouted. In the chaos, Zayler stepped forward. "Let me help. I can disable it." Wolf hesitated, then nodded reluctantly. "You have one chance. Don't make me regret it." As Zayler dove into the task, the enemy fleet prepared for a final assault. The fate of the Titan and Earth hung in the balance. Humanity's new dawn. The Titan trembled under the relentless onslaught of the Galactic Council's elite fleet. On the bridge, General Wolf stood firm, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Dr. Park, Zayler, how much longer?" Dr. Park's hands flew across her console. "I've isolated the device's signal, but disabling it remotely is impossible. Zayler's our only hope." Zayler worked frantically, his scaled fingers darting over a holographic interface. "This isn't a simple transmitter. It's a multi-layered fail-safe." They anticipated sabotage. "Then stop talking and fix it," Wolf barked, his gaze locked on the view screen. The enemy fleet was closing in, their weapons hammering the Titan's shields. The final stand. Atlas's calm voice reported, "Shields at 15%. Evacuation protocols are advised." Wolf clenched his fists. "We don't evacuate. We finish this." Atlas continued, "Weapons systems are at 70% capacity. Suggestion: deploy advanced defensive measures." Wolf nodded. "Activate the gravimetric disruption array. Let's give them something to fear." Outside, the Titan's hull shimmered as it unleashed a wave of gravimetric distortion. Nearby enemy ships twisted violently, their formations breaking apart. The battlefield erupted into chaos, giving the Titan precious moments to regroup. Zayler's redemption. In the engine room, Zayler finally pinpointed the device's core functions. "I can disable it," he called out, "but it'll cause a feedback surge. The entire power grid will reset." "That means no shields, no weapons, nothing," Park warned. Wolf's voice came through the comms. "Do it. We'll hold them off until you're ready." Zayler hesitated, his hands hovering over the controls. "If this fails." "It won't," Wolf said firmly. "You're not the only one betting everything today." With a deep breath, Zayler activated the override. Sparks erupted from the conduit as the device self-destructed, sending a shockwave through the Titan. Lights flickered, and the hum of the ship's systems died. The moment of silence. The Titan floated in silence, a dead behemoth in the void. On the bridge, Wolf stared at the enemy fleet, which quickly regrouped. The Council's ships prepared for a final strike. Atlas's voice broke the silence. "System reboot in progress. Estimated time, 90 seconds. "We don't have 90 seconds, Wolf muttered. "Park, what can we do?" She looked up, her face grim. "We can reroute emergency power to a single system. Shields or weapons. You'll have to choose." Wolf didn't hesitate. "Weapons. If we're going down, we're taking as many of them as we can." The unexpected ally. As the enemy fleet closed in, something unexpected happened. A transmission crackled through the comms. "This is Captain Drix of the Helvar Resistance. We've come to even the odds." Dozens of ships emerged from hyperspace, smaller and less advanced than the Council's, but piloted with precision and determination. The Helvar Resistance, inspired by Earth's defiance, had taken a stand. Wolf smirked. "Looks like we're not alone after all." The Helvar ships dove into the fray, drawing enemy fire and buying the Titan precious time. The Titan rises. "System reboot complete," Atlas announced. "All systems operational." Wolf's eyes lit up. "Atlas, target their flagship. Let's end this." The Titan surged back to life, its engines roaring and weapons blazing. Its main cannon charged with a low hum that grew into a deafening crescendo. The Council's flagship, an enormous vessel bristling with weaponry, became its target. "Fire," Wolf commanded. The Titan's main cannon unleashed a beam of pure energy, piercing the flagship's shields and tearing through its hull. The ship exploded in a brilliant flash, scattering debris and sending shockwaves through the enemy fleet. Demoralized, the remaining Council ships began to retreat. One by one, they blinked out of existence, vanishing into hyperspace. Humanity's declaration. As the battlefield fell silent, Wolf recorded a final message to be broadcast across the galaxy. His voice was steady, filled with both exhaustion and triumph. To the Galactic Council, you thought Earth was weak. You thought humanity would kneel. You were wrong. Today, we stood not just for ourselves, but for every world you've oppressed. This is our declaration. The days of your tyranny are over. The galaxy will no longer fear you. It will resist. The message was transmitted far and wide, reaching worlds that had long suffered under the Council's rule. Across the galaxy, seeds of rebellion began to sprout. A new beginning. Back on Earth, the Titan returned to its base for repairs. The mood was triumphant but somber. The cost of victory had been high, and everyone knew the fight was far from over. Zaylor stood on the observation deck, gazing at the Titan. Wolf approached him, his expression unreadable. "You saved us," Wolf said, "but don't think I've forgotten what you almost did." Zaylor nodded. "I'll spend the rest of my life making amends, if you'll let me." Wolf extended a hand. "Then let's start by making sure the Council never threatens anyone again." Dr. Park joined them, a tired smile on her face. "The Titan's ready for upgrades. If the Council comes back, they won't recognize her." Wolf looked at the ship, a symbol of humanity's resilience. "They'll recognize us, though, and they'll know exactly what we're capable of." Epilogue. In a hidden chamber on a distant Council world, High Chancellor Velmer watched the broadcast of Earth's victory. His advisors pleaded for immediate retaliation, but he raised a hand to silence them. "No," he said, his voice icy. "Earth has earned our attention. Let them bask in their defiance. We will return, but next time, we will not underestimate them." As Velmer's chamber darkened, the galaxy braced for the next chapter in the struggle between Earth and the Council. But one thing was certain: humanity had changed the balance of power forever.